Wonder what a great day in sales looks like? Well, today we've got co-founder and COO Ryan Harris of Alysio. Alysio provides the tools and insights to increase your team's productivity to achieve their goals and targets. Welcome to the Open Source Podcast. I'm Bruce Pendry, your host, and this is where we dive into the world of startups, innovation, and entrepreneurship. Join us as we speak with founders, industry leaders, and venture capitalists about scaling businesses, securing funding, and pushing the boundaries of technology. Whether you're a startup enthusiast or a seasoned entrepreneur, this is your open source for insights and stories that fuel the growth and success in the tech world. So today I'm sitting down with all-round great guy, Ryan Harris, who is co-founder and COO of Alysio. Ryan, thanks for coming on and welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks, Bruce. Great to be here.
Absolutely. Well, look, Ryan, I really appreciate kind of where we've come in our relationship so far. And Alysio has been one of founders' earlier customers and clients. It was great to kind of do an initial kind of partnership with you guys as a brief engagement. But Ryan, you've obviously had an impressive career so far, transitioning from business development at Data.io, and now leading operations as COO and co-founder at Alysio. I'd love for you to just give us a brief intro and journey of your career to date and some of the moments or decisions that have shaped your path to co-founding Alysio with your co-founder, Aaron.
Yeah, no, and thanks again, for having us. So Aaron and I, we started our careers at Goldman Sachs. So we both did different undergrad programs. We met at Goldman Sachs. We were on the exact same team. We sat right next to each other. It was a great place to start. We learned a lot. I think we learned, what it takes to succeed. It was a great organization. There were obviously a ton of really good policies and procedures in place. So I think we're both grateful for that experience. But at the same time, we both wanted to eventually start our own business. We both had entrepreneurial aspirations. And so we both wanted to leave Goldman and find different opportunities. So I left Goldman. While I was at Goldman, I had met a local entrepreneur who was building a data analytics company. I was captivated by his vision. I wanted to join him. So I ended up doing that. I was the third employee, helped them build out their go-to-market team and strategy. Had a great experience. It exposed me to the startup world, which I was, very appreciative of. And then I went and did an MBA program to kind of further develop my skill set. Aaron, on the other hand, left Goldman and joined Qualtrics here in Utah. Great success story. They were acquired by SAP. Aaron learned a lot of what he knows about selling from that organization. He then took his skill set and applied it to Okta, had a great run at Okta, and then was at Lacework. And he called me one day from his garage and said, hey, while I was at Qualtrics, while I was at Okta, we had all these tools, but it felt like there was a gap. And so when he called me with this idea, we had gone back and forth on a number of ideas, but when he called me with this idea, we both felt that it had the most potential and the most meaning behind it. And so we went all in, we quit our jobs, and we've been fortunate to have a good run so far.
Absolutely. And no better place, I think, right now than doing that in Utah. I've been out there a few times. My business partner is a BYU grad and grew up in Utah. And it's incredible to see the budding tech scene there. And, it's very well established, but kind of bubbling up right now in terms of prominence, which is really great to see for sure. So can you tell us a little bit more about Alysio and the product and what you guys are delivering?
So when Aaron was at Qualtrics and at Okta, they had all of these sales tools. For those, who have been in a go-to-market organization, I'm sure you're familiar with, Salesforce, Clary, Gong, Outreach, all of these tools. There's a lot of tools in the industry. But we noticed a gap, or I should say Aaron noticed a gap on his team when it came to sales accountability and identifying the lead indicators that drive results. And so despite the number of tools that they had, they essentially wanted to answer a very simple question. And that was, how do I know that I've had a great day in sales? So they wanted to hold themselves accountable, and the manager wanted to hold the team accountable. So to address this, they created a spreadsheet and they assigned weightings to each lead indicator or each revenue generating activity. So think 10 cold calls could be a point, one demo set could be worth 2 points, and it was up to everyone to go and get 10 points every day. If they did that, they knew they had a good day and their manager knew they had a good day. And they quickly realized there was this correlation between the teams that were using this spreadsheet and those that were going to President's Club and hitting quota. So that's when Aaron called me. He took the spreadsheet to Okta, called me when he was there and said, "Hey, I took this spreadsheet, or I had this spreadsheet at Qualtrics. I took it to Okta, saw similar results. People really bought in. It helped identify the lead indicators, and it helped hold all of us accountable. So they were seeing positive results from it. And so that was really the foundation of what led us to build Alysio, and that's the foundation of our platform. We help teams identify the lead indicators that drive success or results, and then we gamify it in a way that increases productivity and ensures that everyone knows what they need to do in order to succeed.
Yeah, absolutely. So from my end, in my previous role, as we built the team out, that was one of my biggest headaches. I think here at Founder, we're very happy to have adopted Alysio as a product and as a tool for us to kind of measure what we, whether we've had a good day, whether we've been successful, etc. And being able to add and incrementally change 1% each day, the compound effects of that to becoming a 10x recruiter, salesperson, etc. It's huge for us. And I know it was one of the biggest headaches in my previous role, especially when, okay, as well, talking to managing upwards to your boss, right? It's saying like, hey, this is what we're doing, this is where we're at, but, unable to actually visualize or see what the success was on a consistent basis. And you get naturally, I think in sales, you get those ebbs and flows of, I've had a few bites this week, or I've had a few pitch calls and everybody's riding a high, and they then are motivated to go and get more results, or you're down in the pits. It's been quiet for a few weeks, but you want to make sure that you're still kind of hitting, and you can feel fulfillment through the habits that you've created. So yeah,
That's a great way to put it. We couldn't say it better ourselves. And one thing we wanted to do is that a lot of sales tools out there are built mainly with the manager or the sales leader in mind. And we kind of wanted to flip that on its head. Yes, there are definitely the benefits for the manager and the sales leader, but we wanted to build a platform that was meant for or built for the rep. So our motto is empower the individual. So we want the reps or the team to view it as a platform that sets them up for success. It's not Big Brother, they're watching everything I do, but it's, hey, here's a list of lead indicators. Let's focus on these. Let's do them day in, day out. And if we do that, I'm going to see success. And hey, if I'm not seeing success, then there's an opportunity to improve my skill set.
absolutely. Identifying those bottlenecks as well, of like, hey, you're getting to this point, you're getting pitches, but maybe not translating into deals, or signed agreements, etc. I think you can then actually analyze in a silo what stage of the process within sales life cycle that you need to change or make tweaks on, and you can form a training pattern as well from there. And no, that makes sense. I think from our end, one of the things that we've really seen recently in using Alysio has been some of our consultants have been saying, about their improved mental well-being as well. They know that they can go to sleep at night feeling like, hey, I did what I could today, and that's added value, and I know that tomorrow I'm going to do the same and I can achieve my goals. Whereas I know in sales, I think we've all had it where you have sleepless nights, being like, I'm struggling, or what more can I do, etc. But actually, if you know that what you're doing is making and getting you closer to that end goal of a result each day, I think there's been a massive added bonus of the improved mental health and culture in the business as well.
I need to do a case study with you guys. That's awesome. I appreciate that story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ryan, I'd love to, we've been involved a little, very, very briefly, and a little bit in some of the growth of Alysio from a talent perspective. As Alysio scales, talent acquisition obviously is going to become more critical. How have you been approaching building your team from a structure or, priority standpoint? And what qualities are you prioritizing when hiring as a seed stage startup right now?
We view hiring as probably the most important thing that Aaron and I are responsible for. because we view those first 10 employees, we consider that the founding team, and I think those first 10 people really reflect the culture of the company. They build the culture of the company, they set the tone for the future, and so it is top of mind for us day in and day out. I think Aaron and I were both exposed to very high quality talent when we were at Goldman, and that's kind of the bar that we want to set for our entire team. When we were at Goldman, I mean, it was crazy hours, but you could rely on everyone to get stuff done. And I think it's a simple concept, or a simple skill set, but it's hard to find. And so when we've looked at building our team, we are prioritizing. I mean, everyone talks about grit. We're definitely prioritizing, grit. People who are willing to roll up their sleeves and learn and figure it out. And we're looking for people to get stuff done. And again, it's a simple concept, but it's hard to find. And so when we think about top of mind teams or talent for us right now is both on the dev side and the sales side. On the dev side, we were fortunate to find kind of our founding developer who has set a really high bar. He's as gritty as it gets. He figures stuff out. He's got an incredible skill set. And so I think when we look to build out the dev team, which we've started to do, we want similar people to him, people who are going to come in, figure it out, who are willing to put in the work, and who buy into the vision. And then on the sales side, we're definitely looking for similar qualities, but we also want people who have been there and done that, people who have some sort of track record, because what we've realized is that in the early days we don't have a lot of time for training. Every day counts, and so it's hard to bring people in and train them. I think we'll definitely get to the point where we can do that, but we're at a stage, specifically on the sales side, where we need people who can come in and obviously win deals. And so it's a huge challenge, but it's a challenge that we enjoy. And I think platforms like yours are a huge benefit for us and for others, because I think our network is obviously confined to some extent. I think we're pretty well connected here in the Utah ecosystem, but there's so much talent out there, and especially with a work from home environment, or this remote work, you can leverage talent that may not necessarily be within your kind of immediate area. And so anyway, I think platforms like yours are a huge value add to.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really exciting to see kind of how you've built that foundational team out. Having met most of the team, especially on the dev side, it's incredible to see where that bar has been set, but also the consistency across the board of everybody knows what we want to hire, who we want to hire next, and what those qualities are. And I know that you made a fantastic kind of founding team lead style hire recently in Utah. I think it's incredible to see that bar being set, and also that good people attract good people, right? So when you're trying to hire talent, using your founding team as a tool to attract that fresh talent coming in and secure them and get them bought into the vision and the journey of Alysio is really important. And I think you guys have done that exceptionally well. And also on the sales side, I've met Justin a few times, and he's incredibly charismatic and somebody who's an incredible salesman. So yeah, it's really cool to see the overall ecosystem of the team working in unison and harmony. Do you see kind of those priorities evolving as you look towards your next round of funding, whether that's a Series A? Do you see that kind of? I was at a conference last week, and it was very much talking about like, hey, actually, when we make these next hires, maybe our incumbents role will evolve, and they become kind of technical code owners and leaders, so we can drive the continuation of code quality, etc. As we tend to make those new hires, and you lose potentially that control as a leader and a founder of maybe some of the code that's getting pushed into prod. Do you see those kind of I suppose the priorities will change, right? They will change in terms of like, hey, because we're looking for pure ICs and maybe more siloed. Is that something that you guys have spoke about already in terms of the talent roadmap, or is that something that will be tackled down the track?
Definitely, yeah. I think for us, it's probably more so for our next round of funding. But I think for us, we want to obviously reward uh, the individuals that joined us early, and so I think for
Yeah,
our the early team here, we want to see them progress into more leadership roles. And once that happens, I see us um, hiring more ICs and having them, the current team, maybe provide a little bit more insight. But I think right now, I think, and I'd be curious, in your thoughts on this, but we wanted both on the sales and dev side, we wanted ICs. We
yeah.
feel like the, having a manager or someone provide oversight at this stage just isn't a fit for us. We need everyone, hands on keyboard, everyone selling, everyone developing. But to your point, I think those roles will evolve into more leadership roles in the future.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, and yeah, you totally, in the early stage, pre-seed, seed stage rounds, you want people that are going to help you build your product to go out and find that product market fit, get customer feedback, iterate fast, and then obviously you start to scale there from there and set the platform for growth. So, absolutely, I totally agree with that kind of ethos and direction. That's quite a nice segue into finding product market fit can be a challenge for any startup, right? And obviously, you've got a very clear direction with Alysio and very kind of clear mandate and vision that you want to achieve. Can you share with us some of the process that you went through to identify, or you might still be going through it, identifying the right market fit, but then any adjustments or insights that or how did you go about finding those insights to help shaping your product offering?
We view product market fit as a journey, so we're definitely still on it. In the very early days when we had the idea, we reached out to a number of sales leaders and just said, hey, this is our idea, what are your thoughts, do you feel like there's a gap? And there was enough insight and feedback that gave us confidence in really pursuing what we're building at Alysio. We will continue to obviously perfect or really find product market fit, and that's another huge top of mind challenge for us. It's a challenge that we really enjoy. So Tom on our team is head of product. He's been with
Yeah,
us since day one, and he's kind of taking the charge in kind of in partnership with Aaron and myself on ensuring that we find product market fit, because there are, like I mentioned, there are a lot of tools out there, and so I think for us, it's really finding our niche and ensuring that we perfect it, and then we market it so that everyone knows exactly what we do and the pain that we're solving for. And I think a huge takeaway that we've had on or from our journey, from our product market fit journey, is when you speak with prospective customers, the important question to ask is, okay, here's our idea, or here's additional features, would you pay for them? Not just like,
yeah,
are these cool, like, is it interesting to you? I think the question you have to ask is, would you pay for this? Because a lot of people will give you feedback and say, yes, this is cool, this is insightful, but when you actually tie money to it, um, that's when you really get signs of whether you're on the path to product market fit. So anyway, that's kind of a question that we keep in the back of our mind, and that we ask our prospective and current customers. If we add this feature, is that something you would pay more money for? And then again, for prospective customers, it's asking, okay, here's kind of what we have, would you pay for that? And I think if you include that money kind of factor into the question, it helps with feedback an immense amount.
absolutely. And I think from mine, and I'm sure this was part of that journey, but from mine in terms of feedback, like the simplicity of such an all-encompassing product for me, and the seamless integration into our systems and then automated updates straight away is, it's like an enterprise grade solution for us that's just absolutely seamless. And one, I think that you want sales tools to fit into your day rather than becoming a hindrance, right? I think we have a CRM with HubSpot, and then we have our ATS, which is where we house all of our applicant tracking and candidate management, etc. And it's funny to see, even with HubSpot being such a well-established tool, actually the ATS being they're a smaller startup, the company that we use, they've got more seamless integration in and etc. So it's for me, Alysio just slots into that kind of tool war chest, if you will, and is perfect for what you want, and doesn't require any extra work outside of onboarding and setup. So it's great from that point of view. How did you navigate kind of the funding, the raising cycle and process? I know that you've raised around 4.7 million so far in seed to date. Kickstart Fund being one of your heavy backers and lead investors. What's some of the strategies? And do you have any kind of interesting stories around when you were trying to raise funding, on what that looked like?
Yeah, we got incredibly lucky very early on. We had two angels who were willing to invest, and they connected us with Village Global in the Bay, who's been an incredible partner. And so those two angels in Village Global essentially gave us our chance at building Alysio. And after that, kind of, we call it kind of our angel and family round. We really started developing relationships with the VCs. We had a number of VCs here locally that we wanted to build relationships with, and I think one key takeaway is that, kind of like a sales cycle. I think it's very similar or a sales cycle kind of in the software world. It's very similar in the VC world, because it takes building a relationship. The VCs obviously want to get to know the founders and the company, and then the founders should also get to know the VCs really well, because it's a very close relationship. And so we had a number of VCs here locally that we picked out, we identified, we started to build relationships with them. We met Kat Kennedy early on. She's with Kickstart here in Utah. I think our first interaction with her was going on a hike. So they hold these at the time, I think they were doing maybe quarterly kind of events or maybe monthly events with local entrepreneurs. So Aaron and I, we were at our prior jobs, and we said, hey, Kickstart's doing this hike. Kat's going to be there. We really want to meet Kat. Let's go. So we both left during the day, went and did this hike with Kat, and Kat was actually the first, or the person that introed us to those two angels that I mentioned. And so I think it takes time, and it takes really, going out of your way to build a relationship. And I think, that's what we're doing right now as we look for, or as we think about like future rounds. We want to build those relationships right now. We obviously are heads down selling and building product, but at the same time, we're trying to balance that with building relationships. And so when we were at SaaStr a couple weeks ago, we met with probably 5 different VCs while out there. We weren't pitching them on a round or anything. We were just building that relationship. And so I think that's key when going the venture route.
Yeah, I heard such great things about SaaStr, but I just to touch upon some of your VC partners, I've done a bit of work with Gavin and Karen and the team over at Kickstart Fund, and such an incredible group, and I'm sure great partners in that journey. I know that they take pride in how they care for their founders and putting founders first when it comes to that journey. One thing you mentioned there was very much. I love like the in-person piece again now. How it's we're really back to full swing a few years after the pandemic. What advice would you give for founders with kind of mapping out their events and getting out there, what type of, if there's any data to collect that's been really important to you guys from a growth perspective. But I know that you mentioned that SaaStr was a great success. Is that a key part of your strategy? Is getting out to as many conferences that are relevant as you can?
Conferences have been a huge win for us. We've exhibited at a couple this year, and we'll probably do so again in the future. But the conferences have been incredible. One of our, and again, part of our value proposition is that we want to help teams identify the lead indicators that drive results. And a huge lead indicator that we're seeing right now in the industry and from our customers is in-person touch points. So whether that's going to lunch with them, whether that's going to an event with them, whether that's, going to a conference with them, that in-person piece is critical and vital for, I think, for raising money, for what, for meeting customers. And so we'll continue to go to events. We went to Inbound, we went to Dreamforce, we've gone to a number of pavilion events. We went to SaaStr. But in addition to that, one other area that we've seen success from is holding our own events. And obviously, we're early stage. We obviously want to be as cognizant with our funds. And so we've been fortunate. We've had a number of great partners who have helped us sponsor these events. And typically, what we'll do is we'll go to a city. So we've gone to Boise, Austin, we've done it in Salt Lake, and we've done it in Phoenix. We'll go to these cities. We'll typically, select some sort of restaurant that's appealing to people in the area, and then we'll invite around 30 sales leaders. And we've seen a lot of success. We've gotten a lot of opportunities from these events. It's low cost for us, but again, that in-person piece has gone a long ways for us.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's such a good tip for founders. So many founders that I talk to that are seed, pre-seed stage, it's expensive, right, to go to conferences, very hesitant to get a booth, etc. But that said, the value add is high. But hosting your own events, I think, is largely overlooked by so many founders, because it can seem quite daunting about how we're actually going to get people to attend and things like that. But build it and they will come, right? And I think that we're about to launch our own series of happy hours on the recruiting side and bringing talent
Yeah.
and founders together. But it's crucial nowadays to get that kind of pipeline of events rolling, and especially like your own hosted events as well. So no, that's a great insight.
Yeah, and I will say it hasn't been the events that we've done have been great. They've been successful, but it hasn't been easy. It's been pretty tough to get people there. We've had to do we run a number of sequences just for the event. We'll do cold calling just for the event, and so it's taken a decent amount of time to actually fill the seats. But again, I think it's paid off. So I think for other founders who are maybe thinking about running their own events, I don't think you can just simply run a sequence or maybe post on LinkedIn once. I think it takes reaching out to the sales leaders via, or whoever you want at your event, via LinkedIn, calling, email, and kind of have to take an omni-channel approach just to fill events. But again, when you do that, it pays off from our experience.
Definitely, it starts that journey of long-term relationships sooner. I think like the more you meet over Zoom, etc., great, grand, and that person might become a customer. But I think until you truly get out there and meet somebody and start to foster that commonality and relationships, that's where you start to build those long-term relationships and generate referral-based business as well. So I think it's super important. So that makes absolute sense. Well, Ryan, I'd love to just dive into. Tell us a bit about the future of Alysio. What's on the horizon? Can you share any upcoming milestones or kind of product or feature releases? That we can share right now, or any of the what's next on the journey with Alysio.
Absolutely. So two pieces that excite us. We obviously provide insights into what sales teams are doing. The sales leaders can see what the team's doing. We want to obviously connect activity to results. And if there's not a result, we want to provide training. And so we're about to release some coaching functionality. It'll have an AI component. It won't be completely AI. We're pulling in kind of a the human element of it as well
Yeah.
from renowned sales leaders. And so I think it's really exciting for us. So we'll be able to identify those insights and then fill in any skill gaps that we identify through coaching. And again, that's, there are some AI coaches out there, but we have kind of a unique approach that we're excited about. And then the second piece I'd mention is that, one pain that we consistently come across is that sales leaders are incredibly busy. And again, this is kind of part of our product market fit journey. Uh, we knew that they were busy going into building Alysio, but we didn't realize really how busy they are and how many tools that they have. And so one huge part of our platform is hand delivering those insights to the sales leader. So instead of having to log in to an additional tool, they definitely can if they want to, but that hand delivery part where we're going to deliver those insights right to the sales leader, via a few different options for how we get those insights to them. But it's exciting for us because it's been a huge request from a lot of sales leaders, and so we're excited to help sales leaders save time and improve their team.
That's awesome. I'm really excited to see those features launch and the journey and the growth of Alysio to continue. I'm excited to hopefully come out and get to meet you guys in person next month. But Ryan, it's been an absolute pleasure having you here on the Open Source podcast. I really appreciate it, and would love to have you on again. And look forward to seeing the continued growth of not only your team but also of the company as a whole as well.
Well, thanks, Bruce. Appreciate it, and really appreciate what you guys are doing with your platform. Again, I think it's a huge value add for early stage and really any type of company.
Awesome. Thanks very much, Ryan. Speak to you soon.